This is a book I think you should read, and it's also a book I think you can read. Now, when I say should, I don't mean you have to morally. I mean, I think you'd enjoy it, and I think it'd be great for you. It was really great for me, and I really enjoyed it. And when I say I think you can read it, I mean, it's not as hard as you might think it is. So here's the book. It's Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't. And this will be a very informal video where I give you some reasons why I think you would enjoy it and why I think it's not as hard as you might think. In front of me, by the way, wow, how do I even explain? I'm recording this video here because I have to fold all of these things anyway. I run a physical monthly mail club, the Reasons to Read Mail Club, and so every month I stuff a bunch of stuff I've put together, commentary on old books, my own original work, fun things like this month we have, spoiler alert if you're getting this in the mail, a bingo card we're going to be doing based on stuff in the book. So anyway, I have to fold and staple and stuff, all of these. So I figured kill two birds with one stone and record while I work. And March's edition of Mail Club was about meditations. I've been thinking about meditation so much this month. Like I reread it. I took kind of ridiculous amount of notes. So those are, nope, there you go. Like this, all of this, these are all like highlights. These are my favorite parts and favorite parts of meditations. I wrote, I think 150 favorite parts. And then I had to whittle that all down to put it in the mail club, and it's been on my brain. It's been simmering in my head, this book. This was my third read of it, and each time I've gotten to like a little bit more. It's become one of those books now that I can't really recall not having read it. You know what I mean? You have a book like that or a movie like that, and now that you've experienced that, you're like, I used to not know about this. It's become such like an integral part of the way that you think. So I'm not recommending this book to you as like, say, a Bible. It is a philosophical work, but it's not, your one guide to life. But like bang for buck, like the amount of good stuff that I recall out of this book for how long it is, which is not very long, by the way, is, it's off the charts insane. Oh, I should probably, the point of this video was I was going to be working on stapling this while I talk. So let me get started on that and maybe we'll hit a groove. Not gonna lie, this multitasking thing might be harder than I thought it would be, but that's all right. So, step one. What even is Meditations? What is this book? If you've never heard of it at all, or you maybe loosely have an idea, Meditations is a book written about 2,000 years ago by the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius. And it is a private book, as in he wrote it to himself. It's his own personal reflections. And it's kind of a book of encouragement to himself in his philosophical journey. So Marcus Aurelius was a practitioner of Stoic philosophy. The word Stoic, I think like lowercase s, you probably just know of like as like keeping like a very straight face about everything. But the philosophy is more nuanced than that. I am not an expert. Oh gosh. That one's going to have to get trimmed. I'm not an expert on Stoic philosophy, so if I say something kind of off, that's on me. But, Marcus Aurelius, Emperor of Rome, if you've seen Gladiator, he's Commodus's dad. I actually have no idea how much of that is historically accurate at all, but he was in that movie, so that was pretty cool. Oh, boy. Okay. So that's what that book is. It's a book of philosophy, but written from an emperor to himself, just like kind of encouragement to himself. I don't know the lore of how it got published. Did he leak his journals, or was he eventually persuaded to publish these? I don't know. But at the very least, the form of the writing itself, he'll say something like, remember to do this, remember that you want to be this way. But he's talking to himself, which I will say, as far as philosophical works go, makes it much more palatable and easy to read because it doesn't feel like someone's yelling at you so much as they are kind of working on themselves, and you get the chance to eavesdrop on that process. So that's one of the reasons I like it. So part 2, why might you enjoy this book? Why should you read this book? Why would you even consider it? And then after that, I'll tell you, how come actually it's not going to be as hard as you think. If you have ever tried to do something but not done a very good job, or as good of a job as you would have liked, or you've wanted to be a good person and you find yourself doing things you didn't mean to do, then this book is for you. If you have ever encountered other people in your life and they bothered you and you wish they didn't bother you so much, this book is for you. Ooh. If you are ever like, hey, wait, I'm going to die someday. I don't know how to feel about that. And then you wonder if maybe you've been ignoring that concept and maybe you should think about it a little bit so that you can make better use of your time that you have left. This book is definitely for you. If you find yourself addicted to other people's opinions or other people's praise, if you feel like much more like you care about your image than about the things you're actually doing, this book is certainly for you. You know, and even though it's been 2,000 years and a lot of external things about the world have changed, human nature hasn't really changed a lot. So you'd be surprised how often you're reading it and you're like, did he just write this like last week? And that's again because human nature has not really changed a lot. People 2,000 years ago, cared about other people's opinions and ignored the concept of death just as much as we do today. Oh my golly gee, I'm out of staples. I might not even have any more staples in the house. We'll staple that later, and I'm going to switch to folding these because I can do that without staples. Okay, so yeah, this is each month of Mail Club comes with like a letter like this that just kind of introduces the theme, has like a little hand-drawn kind of title. So this one was Marcus Aurelius. What was I saying? Oh yes, 2,000 years ago, very different world, but kind of the same people, right? You have all the same concerns. What do I do? Does my life have meaning? How much time do I get before I die? What do I do when hardship comes? What do I do with people who are annoying me? Right? Those are not really new problems. So if any of those things, basically, if you've ever been a human being and you've had questions about the way you're living your life, I recommend this book. I would like to take a moment to address, I think some people perceive meditations as like a hustle culture rise and grind mindset type book, like an alpha male, read this book and you'll never have an emotion in your life and you'll work harder. I feel like if you cherry pick certain quotes, you could get that impression. Like there's a really great passage about waking up early in the morning, which I do love, and it does help me get up earlier in the morning. But that is not the point of the book. And I think if you read it yourself, you will find out that no, this is not a hustle culture alpha male type of book. I don't remember who, but I did have somebody email me recently saying they had picked this book up and read it, and they were pleasantly surprised because they had been under that impression that it was going to be, it's too mainstream. It's like this book that people read for self-improvement. And then they read it and they're like, wait, no, it's actually very good. So now, yeah, kind of a rambly video so far. Thanks for sticking around. I'm finding the process of folding and talking simultaneously actually a lot trickier than I thought. Maybe with practice I could get better at it. But, oh my gosh. I got to get one of those machines that folds paper for you. That was part 2, I think. Why should you maybe read this book? What kind of person would benefit from this book? And the answer, I honestly think pretty much anybody. But now part 3, which is, can you in fact read this book? The garage door is opening. I think my wife is home with pizza. Hello.
Hello, sorry.
Oh, you're good. I am still filming now. I ran out of staples.
You look hot.
I ran out of staples.
You might have more.
We do? Oh, thank you.
You should probably order more soon, though.
Yeah, we probably should. Britt, are you going to read Meditations?
Uh-huh.
Are you lying for the camera?
I'm going to read many meditations, at least.
Oh, this one?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
I already did.
Yeah, you had to proofread it.
Uh-huh.
Wait, but is there like a thing I can say like, if this video gets 5 likes, my wife will read Meditations?
How many likes do you normally get?
Like 3.
Really?
I don't know.
If it gets 500 likes,
500 likes?
then I'll read meditations.
Yeah.
Then I'll read the full thing.
The whole thing? Okay. If this video gets 500 likes, Britt will read Meditations. I feel like I just immediately ruined the stoic nature of the book and the philosophy of it by turning it into a smash that like button. But actually, honestly, if you wouldn't mind, if you do like the video, then I think it would be great for Britt to read this book. She can read whatever she wants, but I think she would like it. So if we're over 500, ignore it. You don't need to click it. That's fine. But if you can help us get there, that'd be great. I'm looking right at the part of the Mail Club where it says like fame is not important. And
Wait, are you talking to me?
I don't know anymore. Now, part 3, I think we're on. Part 3 is, can you read this book? The answer is yes. Let me explain a teeny bit about it, because I think the biggest reason you might have for bouncing off of it and like not doing well with it is just missed expectations of what it is, like what you're trying to get into, right? It's not actually hard in itself. For one, it is very short. The whole thing is under 100 pages. My copy was like 250 pages, of which 150 pages about are an introduction and extensive like notes and like historical timelines and stuff like that. So like 100 pages of it, I think under 100, like 95, is the actual book. It's not like, a 400-page treatise. So number one, it's short. Number two, the way it's written. I'll put a picture up on the screen of like a page of it, but it's divided into 12 books. And by books, it's just like, like little chapters. And in those chapters, it's basically just itemized thoughts listed by number. So like, book 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. It's kind of written like a bullet journal. Each paragraph is numbered and it's like a new thought. So like, for example, book 6.6 is a single sentence and it says, the noblest kind of retribution is not to become like your enemy. They're not all that short. Some of them are about a paragraph. Some of the longer ones are almost a whole page, but no individual thought is more than a page. They're short-ish thoughts on related themes. So like, it's not like totally random and it's numbered. So it's very easy to track where you're at. It's very easy to read a couple of thoughts and then stop and think to yourself. You're not trying to tackle like this long argument through, a couple hundred pages. It's short and it's broken into bite-sized pieces. Another nice thing about the bite-sized pieces is there will be certain points you read and you're like, I don't know what that is talking about. Or I kind of get it, but it doesn't seem super relevant. You can just keep reading because the next thought isn't contingent on you understanding that thought. There's some of them that maybe it's because I don't have the historical knowledge or whatever, but I just didn't quite get or it didn't quite matter to me. And that's fine. I just read the next one. And you don't have to understand every single line or every single point for there to be certain bombs in there that just absolutely like wreck your life and make you think about things in a whole new way. So that's kind of part 3, is that it's short and it's broken into easy-ish chunks. I'll say as a little disclaimer, book 1 is unfortunately the most confusing one if you don't know what he's writing. So book 1, a little tip, is a list of all the people he is basically thanking in his life and what they taught him. So he'll say like, from my grandfather, to do this, to do this, to do this. As in, from my grandfather, I learned these things. From my rhetoric teacher, I learned these things. But if you open up book 1 and you're like, what the heck? That's what's going on. So book 1, still good stuff. Just know the context of what's going on. All the other ones are pretty much written in a much more easy to read format. I mean, you can even skip book 1 if you want and just go right to book 2. That's fine. Anyway, I have a lot more of these to fold and I feel like I'm mostly out of things to say. But recap briefly, Meditations is a book by a Roman emperor. It's very good and it's not as hard as you might think. Easy to break down chunks, and if there's a part you don't get, you can skip it. Don't get me wrong, it will take more work than reading like, just a paperback from today. It is an old book and some of the language is a little hard to parse. But if you're all interested in big questions like, how do I deal with the fact that I'm going to die someday? Or how do I deal with people who are bothering me? Or how come I don't seem to do the good things I want to do? This is definitely a book I would recommend you try. Now, if you're watching this and you're not part of the mail club, the March one is already going out. By the time that you see this video, it's probably been mailed. But you could join us for the April one, theme to be revealed every month. I normally don't make a video talking about what I'm putting out in the mail club. It is a paid thing just because I have to do all this physical printing, folding, and stamps. We do ship internationally. We have people all over the world. I think we just got our first subscriber from Lithuania, I think. So hi, if you're watching from Lithuania, thanks for joining, and I hope you enjoy your first envelope. But I totally know not everyone is in a spot to do that. The YouTube channel is still going. It's always free. I put a lot of my attention into this. Same thing with the Substack newsletter I run once a month where I recommend books. So I don't want you to feel like you have to be a part of the mail club to, get, any of the good stuff. I try and put the good stuff everywhere. There's just some extra stuff I can put in the mail club that I can't quite get online. And I do think it's fun. Like in a world where most of the stuff I do is online a lot of the time, even corresponding with friends or playing games. It's fun to, sit here on a Saturday afternoon just when I'm filming this and fold sheets of paper and then put them in envelopes and put stamps on them and send them out all over the world. And it's just an enjoyable process. So if you would like to add to this giant stack of paper I have to fold every month and you want to be a part of the Reasons to Mail Club or try it out at the very least, you can click on the link in the description. If you have any questions about it, you can just email me. I'm timdemoss.com/contact before, and I will happily, answer what questions I can. Anyway, it was a rambly video, which I'm okay with. That was, I think, the whole plan. hopefully fun. Hopefully you have been encouraged to read Meditations. And I hope you have a good day. Happy reading.